Hey boys and girls, how you doing? I'm a little nervous about this particular video. This is the first time I'm doing this. I got my timer set. I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes, okay? And I got the set for a little more than 9 minutes right now, and then we'll see where we're at after that. I'm going to hold the phone the whole time. I've got my Spider-Man approved clipboard, and I didn't script this, but I did bullet point it, right? Because this segment is going to be called, it's going to be a recurring segment if it goes well. If they don't come to my door with pitchforks, I'm going to do this segment, I don't know, a couple times a month. And I call this the political drummer. And I am going to be talking about things, political issues that affect musicians. And today's discussion is going to be about the vaccine. Look, I'm vaccinated. I think everybody should be vaccinated. Unequivocally, everybody should get vaccinated. 56% of the United States population has been vaccinated. The magic number is 70, folks. Europe is already there and they are open for business. They are back to normal for the most part. They got minor little things, but they are back to normal because they have reached what's called herd immunity. And I know you've heard about that, right? Herd, whatever. Oh, wait, a little pun. Herd immunity, right? They've reached that. So COVID is no longer a big concern because 99.999% of the time, no one is going to die from that particular infection. And as a matter of fact, they probably won't even need a hospital stay. If you've been vaccinated, 99% of the time, you don't need a hospital stay. You just get it and you get over it like a cold. But here in America, musicians, we can't work. Now, again, I had a great summer thanks to Tasha Owens, many outdoor festivals. Tasha, thank you very much.
2, 1, 2, 3.
You stay out all night, break the day, snap me up with everything I say. Little by little, till I'm losing everything. Your love is away from me.
I worked a lot. I made a lot of money. It was a lot of fun. I felt like a musician again. Oh man, and we did some shows, man, that were just killer. Killer. But now the schedule's bleak as we get into the winter here in Michigan. That's where I live. A lot of clubs didn't make it through the pandemic. I have a friend, Joanne Shaw-Taylor, who had to cancel a tour because it was a Europe tour. She could go to Europe and play, but she might not be able to come back in when it's done because of the restrictions that we have, because we're not where we should be. We are the last of the G7 nations that are not at 70%. We are the last of the G7 nations. We are lagging behind all of them. That's ridiculous. People can't work. So let's talk about the reasons people think that they shouldn't get the vaccine. And I'm going to deal with a couple of them, right? And the first one I'm dealing with is the one that I think is the stupidest reason. And that's the conspiracy stuff about there's a microchip in the vaccine, or I've heard there's a chemical in the vaccine to make you more obedient to the government. Really? I've had the vaccine. I'm not more obedient to the government. No. No. Occasionally I run a red light. You know, I don't know. I heard one guy say it's going to wipe out your DNA. Well, that would just kill you. You can't just rewrite somebody's DNA. Like, they do that on Star Trek. That's a TV show. I love Star Trek, by the way. I'm a Trekkie. But I don't think that transporters are going to happen anytime soon. Neither is warp drive. So what is it about the conspiracies? What attracts people to these conspiracies? Well, first of all, the YouTube people and all that are selling you the conspiracies, they just want you to click on their thing, right? And they do that by appealing to your narcissism. Now, I'm a musician, and whether you know it or not, all musicians to some degree are narcissists. You cannot be a musician, get up on stage, and do what you gotta do without having a little shade of narcissism in you, right? It's the truth. But the narcissism that the conspiracy believer subscribes to believes that he or she knows a secret that the rest of us don't know. And that person, there's a lot of folks who feel they want to know. They want to be able to think. They want to think in their head that they know a truth that the rest of us did not figure out. That they have reached some sort of pinnacle of intellectual reality that the rest of us cannot see. And that appeals to them. It makes them feel superior. And that's what the YouTube guy who's selling that to you is counting on. You click, he gets a little money. And I'm on YouTube. I want you to click on mine. Tell me you think I'm an idiot. I don't care. I'll make a little money. I'm being honest about it. But those guys don't care about your health. And I care about your health for a selfish reason because I want to go back to work. Take the vaccine. Do it for me and my friends. All right? Now, not all conspiracies are wrong necessarily, right? I'll be the first one to tell you that I'm not sure that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone with JFK.
Let me have it. I want it. Being let out by Captain Fritz. There is a prisoner. There is Lee. He's been shot.
Do I think it was the Dallas police in cahoots with the army, in cahoots with the mafia, in cahoots with the CIA, in cahoots with the Girl Scouts, in cahoots with the Dallas Little League team? No. Do I think there's more there than meets the eye? Probably. Probably. Do I think I have some kind of secret information that nobody knows? No. No. I don't even think I know what I know. Believe me. You know, not only am I not that attractive, I'm not that bright. Okay. That's number one. Number two. The aborted baby thing. There is a long-standing thought, it's been around for a while now, that when you take the injection, you're putting aborted cells in your arm. And there's a little bit of truth in that the pharmaceutical companies, and I hate pharmaceutical companies, I hate Big Pharma. They're terrible, terrible, terrible people that care more about boner pills than they do about healing the sick. I think we should have cured cancer a long time ago and Alzheimer's and all of them, but instead we got a lot of 80-year-old men walking around with boners because they want to make money. However, there is no evidence and no proof. And I'm not talking about just Pfizer, I'm talking about all the pharmaceutical companies used aborted fetuses in the actual vaccine, right? Now, the part that's true is, did they use aborted fetus cells to research the vaccine? Yes, they did. But the truth is, they're not told, no one is told, the information does not exist whether the cells they were using are from an intentionally aborted fetus or a miscarriage. They don't know. Nobody knows. So I'm going to just give you to play right into the Christian argument. Let's say it's true. Let's say there are some aborted cells, and it helps you to stave off COVID. Well, what else should we do with those cells? They're in a cryogenic chamber. What should we do with those cells? Throw them away? Right? If you believe that they would have a purpose, they should have a purpose, God wanted them to have a purpose, should we just throw them away? I mean, we can't change the fact that they were aborted or miscarried. We might as well use them to help people, to save lives. Because really, and I'm not a believer, but when I read the Gospels, Jesus healed the sick. All right, number 3. All right, I'm going to put down everything now because this is the one that really has teeth. Because this objection to the vaccine is the one that 99.999999999% of the time I agree with, and that is freedom. And this objection is that I don't have the right to tell you what to do with your body, and you don't have the right to tell me what to do with my body. And I agree with that. I don't think that any government, any agency should tell any woman anywhere whether or not they should carry a pregnancy to term. It is the choice of the woman. I don't even think the man has a say. I don't think so. The man does not have to carry the fetus for 9 months, the baby for 9 months. The woman has to do that. Concerning drugs, they finally legalized marijuana. Right? But you know, there's a lot of other drugs. They're finding benefits in mushrooms now. Look, tobacco's legal in this country. And if you're going to have tobacco be illegal, if you're going to have tobacco be legal, that is just as addicting, if not more addicting, than the other drugs, right? So you might as well legalize it all. Cocaine, all of it. Because I don't think I have a right to tell you you can't do cocaine. Now, do I have a right to tell you, now here we're going to get into what freedom is about. Do I have a right to tell you, yeah, I don't think you should do cocaine and drive. Now let's talk about that. But if you want to do cocaine, go ahead and you don't have to go to jail. But I don't think you should do cocaine or heroin and drive a car. Let's talk about that. Freedom. Freedom. We have made a social contract between each other. We have both agreed for certain things to curtail our freedoms so that we can be more free. Hey, Glenn, that don't make sense. That don't make sense at all. Let's take the red light. By the way, this is my own analogy. I sweep this whole, this is the part that's going to go viral. It's going to go viral, the red light analogy. We're going to call this the red light analogy. A lot of people are talking about the red light analogy. A lot of people say it's the greatest analogy ever. So when you pull up to a red light, you're on the way to the grocery store, right? If you're on the East Coast to A&P, the Midwest to Kroger, because we hate Myers. I do not go to Myers. I have not set a foot in a Myers. If you don't know where they are, in like 20 years, I hate those people. Not the people that work there, the people that own it. No problem with the people that work there. All right. I don't like corporate. Walmart too. I don't go to Walmart. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. They treat their employees badly. I don't like them. So when you're on the... no, I'm nuts, folks. You're on the way to the grocery store and you want to buy whatever, right? You stop at that red light when it turns red. And you've made an agreement with the other drivers. And here's what that agreement is. I agree to stop at that red light and allow the people going the opposite directions to go first. And then I go. So I have curtailed my freedom to just ride down the road, to stop at the red light for whatever it is, a minute and a half, and instead of arriving at the grocery store at 3:05, I arrive there at 3:07, and then we both get there safely. Because if we just went in the intersection and didn't care, crash, boom, bang, nobody gets to go to the grocery store. So in that red light, curtailing each other's freedoms, we are freer to accomplish that which we've set out to do. We are freer to accomplish that which we set out to do. And there are a whole bunch of things in this society that we have made agreements about. If you have ever been at an intersection during a power outage where the red light's not working and you're relying on everybody to understand what they're supposed to do, right? And so the rule is, if you know the rule, right, we get to the intersection and everybody goes and takes a turn to the right. Here in America, I think in Europe they do it to the left, we do it to the right. So the person to the right of me goes, whoever arrives first to the right goes through the intersection. That's the rule. But if you've ever had to cross that intersection where the light's not working, I don't care who you are or how much you think it's your turn, you're just a little bit scared if that guy in the next lane going the other direction knows it's your turn. And you go with that little bit of trepidation, because if you both go, neither of you get to your destination. So it is better when the red light's working and we both take our turns and curtail each other's freedom, because when that red light's not there, when the law is not there, when the rule of law is not there, both him or her and I are unsure whether we're going to make it through that intersection. Disease is the same thing. We have agreed in this society to vaccinate our children when they go to public school. There's a ton of vaccinations. When I went to Carnival Cruise Lines and I worked for them for 8 years, there was a bunch of vaccines I had to get because I was going to go overseas, right? Bunch of vaccines I needed to get. And those vaccines are part of that contract, right? So when like, let's just take measles. If a little child, gets measles, really it's probably not that big of a deal for them. They're probably going to get over it. But if he goes to school with the measles, and there's another kid who wasn't vaccinated, and he should have been vaccinated, and that kid gets the measles, and that kid goes home, and he lives with his grandparents for whatever reason, or he visits his grandparents, right? And the grandparent gets the measles. Now, when a grandparent gets the measles, it can change to shingles, right? It shows up like shingles, which can be not only very painful, but deadly. Deadly. So, having all the kids vaccinated, does it mean that measles will never happen? No. But it means that the overall worry, the percentage, the likelihood, the percentage is down. So the grandparents aren't worried, the parents aren't worried, the kids aren't worried, and the kids can do what they went to school to do, which is learn, and the parents know the kids went to school to learn, and they're not worried, they're not anxious, they're not spending time, they're not having to keep their kids home, all that kind of stuff. So in curtailing their freedom, allowing their kids to get the measles vaccination, they ensure more freedom for everybody involved. So if we reach our 70%, the other thing, if fatality rates, it's with the vaccine, it's I'm going to find out what the number is and post it, but it's extremely, extremely low. Even the pregnant women blood clot thing is like 47 out of 14 million, which is no more than it would normally be if COVID never existed. So the numbers just are not there to say that this vaccine is causing problems. It's not. It's not. So in this case, this is our social contract, folks. I got vaccinated so that not only myself, but you can get back to work and live your life, man, and make your money. And with me, I teach drums and I play drums. And when I don't do that, I'm not Glenn. I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this. Anyway, come on, guys. It's America. We're always talking about we're number one. Maybe we can be number one in this thing and get through this.
By exposing your immune system to proteins which resemble the spike protein of the virus but cannot infect you. The vaccine stimulates your immune system to make antibodies against the virus, mimicking what happens when you get COVID, except that you don't get sick with the vaccine. The mRNA vaccines actually use the genetic code of the virus to create a pretend version of the spike protein.
Hi, I look like the virus, but I'm not the virus.
When the real virus tries to attack your body, these pre-made circulating immune proteins are already available, coded to recognize the virus and at the ready to fight back. They essentially find, bind to, and kill the invading virus, drastically reducing the chances that you'll get sick. The vaccine also results in the creation of memory cells that will fight the virus in years to come.
You know what, Doc? I changed my mind. Something inside of me tells me I ought to get the shot. I think you're going to be very happy you did. Okay, just give me fair warning because I'm very afraid of needles, and also some guy on the radio said... You're done.